In today's video, we will analyze what makes these images stand out so you can improve your photography. Please subscribe to the channel if you like the concept. Let's dive in. In the random category, one of the most famous photos of Muhammad Ali was taken by photographer Neil Leffer on May 25, 1965, during the world heavyweight title fight against Sonny Liston. This iconic image shows Ali at the peak of his career looks unbeatable, symbolizing confidence, determination, and power. The image is striking for several reasons. Composition. The slightly low-angle view gives Ali a dominant stature. His posture and the angle highlight his physical strength and undeniable victory. The composition is masterfully done. Ali is at the center of the photo, dominating the scene, while Liston, lying on the ground, is in the foreground. This contrast symbolizes Ali's triumph and his opponent's defeat. The framing is tight, focusing on the two boxers and minimizing distraction. The lighting is spectacular, creating a dramatic effect. A downward light highlights Ali's muscles, making him look even more imposing. The background, cast in shadow, emphasizes the contrast between Ali's heroic figure and the indistinct crowd behind him, reinforcing the idea of his dominance in the scene. The lighting highlights Ali's muscle and contrasts with Liston's still body on the ground. This strengthens the idea of an absolute moment of triumph. Symbolism. This photo represents not only a sporting triumph, but also the fight of Black people to rise in a society marked by racism and social tension. Ali himself was a strong symbol of this struggle for dignity and civil rights. This photo goes beyond sport to become a cultural icon. It represents confidence, boldness, and excellence. Ali, at the height of his career, appears invincible, making it a timeless image of triumph. The colors, thought simple, are very effective. The bright whites of Ali's short contrast with the black of Liston's, highlighting the opposition between the two fighters. The red boxing gloves add a dynamic touch and symbolize the intensity of the fight. The image exudes powerful energy. Ali, in a victory pose, looks almost invincible. The tension in his body and his expression gives him an aura of pride and defiance. In contrast, Liston, lying defeated, offers a poignant contrast, intensifying the drama of the scene. This image has become one of the most powerful representations of Ali's career, marking the history of sport photography. This iconic photo is a masterpiece of sport photojournalism. In the portrait category, this black and white photo of Leslie Malso, taken by Felix Kaiser, shows a careful composition, highlighting a model in the center of the frame. Here are the main highlights of this image. Impact of black and white. The use of black and white gives this photo a timeless quality. This choice emphasizes texture and contrast by removing the distraction of color. Here, the blaze of shadows and light highlight the depth of the model's face and the rich texture of their coat. The black and white effect also adds a strong emotional dimension, enhancing the melancholy feeling of the scene. Central composition and balance. The model is placed centrally, creating an immediate and engaging focal point for the viewer. The urine background, with its slanted architectural lines, subtly structure the image and bring visual dynamics that contrast with the stillness of the model. This contrast between movement and stillness strengthens the balance of the composition. Use of line and perspective. The diagonal lines of the bridge or structure in the background naturally guides the viewer's eye. They create a sense of depth and lead the eye towards the main subject while incorporating the architectural environment. This perspective enhances the model's sense of isolation, suggesting a certain distance from the real background. Texture and clothing. The model's thick texture coat contrasts beautifully with the softness of the face, creating a tangible play of texture that visually enriches the image. The choice of clothing also suggests protection from the outside world, reinforcing an atmosphere of introspection or isolation. Emotion and narrative. The model's calm and serious face suggests emotional depth, such as loneliness or reflection. The blurred urban background enhances this emotional distance, creating an interesting narrative tension between the individual and their environment. In summary, this photo stands out for its mastery of black and white, its balanced composition, and its powerful emotional impact. Now, in the street photography category, This black and white photograph of Kevin and Nkrumah, with remarkable visual strength, capture a moment of contemplation of an elderly man surrounded by pigeons in flight. Composition and perspective. The composition is particularly powerful. The man is placed at the bottom of the image, slightly to the right, while the birds occupy most of the space above him, creating a strong contrast between the stillness of the man and the dynamic movement of the birds. This low-angled perspective enhances the grandeur of the scene, emphasizing the idea of a small human being facing the vastness of the natural world. The alignment of the birds around the man's head seems to form a halo, adding an almost spiritual or symbolic dimension. The choice of black and white accentuates the contrast and reinforces the poetic and timeless atmosphere of the photograph, without the distraction of colors. Attention is immediately drawn to texture, shadows, and shapes. The pale sky in the background highlights the silhouette of the black birds and the old man, creating visual harmony while giving a sense of space and freedom. Lighting and contrast. The natural lighting seems soft and even, creating a moderate contrast that brings out the details of the man's face without harsh shadow. The subtle treatments highlight the texture of the man's time-worn skin and the shape of his clothes, while the bird in flight appear as sharp contrast and silhouette, symbolizing movement and lightness. The image can be interpreted in different ways. It evokes freedom, old age, and the passage of time. The birds, symbol of freedom, fly while the man remains anchored, still and thought. His gaze toward the sky might suggest reflection, memory, or longing for something greater, perhaps meditation on life and nature. The connection between the man and the birds creates a strong emotional bond, suggesting the idea of mental or spiritual escape, emotional impact. The image exudes an atmosphere of calm and contemplation. The contrast between the bird movements and the man's stillness amplify a feeling of serenity and reflection, while leaving room for multiple interpretation. This photograph stands out for its masterful composition, excellent use of black and white, and emotional depth that invite reflection. Capture both the intensity of the moments and the broader symbolic dimension of life and freedom. Now, in the artistic category, this photo by the photographer Carmen Verdi presents a scene that is both intriguing and evocative, where a body, partially hidden behind a closed rack, is relaxing in the corner of a room. Composition and framing. The composition is particularly well thought out, making smart use of the space. The bar legs stretched forward contrast with the mass of hanging clothes, creating a striking contrast between the softness of the human body and the coldness of the inanimate object. The tight framing on this part of the room immediately draws attention to the central contrast. The alignment of the legs diagonally with the wooden floor enhances the sense of depth and direction, pulling the viewer eye towards the main focal point, the strange interaction between the body and the clothes. Lighting and colors. The natural light coming from the window on the left is soft and diffuse, creating a quiet, slightly melancholic atmosphere. It gently illuminates the skin, offering a subtle play of shadows and light. The colors are mainly cool and neutral. The pale green walls and the gray clothes contrast with the warmth of the reddish wooden floor. This contrast between cool and warm color reinforces the opposition between the environment and the human figure. Symbolism and narrative. The placement of the body behind the clothes can evoke a feeling of hiding or escaping, as if the model is trying to disappear or blend into the environment. The lack of a visible face and the confinement in the corner of the room heighten this sense of claustrophobia or withdrawal, might symbolize a desire to escape or an attempt to hide from outside eyes. Emotional impact. The image evokes a strong emotional reaction due to its strangeness and unusual composition. It seems to illustrate a moment of introspection or solitude, evoking both vulnerability and isolation. Through its subtle staging and contrasting color palette, this photo succeeds in creating an intriguing atmosphere that invites interpretation. And now in the fashion category. This minimalist and conceptual fashion photo of Bastian Wood stands out for its clean aesthetic and intelligent use of shapes, line and contrast, composition and framing. The composition of the image is remarkable in its simplicity. The subject is captured in profile, positioned in the center of the frame, immediately drawing attention. The choice of the tight frame with no distraction element in the background allows the focus to be on the geometric shape, especially the hats and the clean lines of the clothing. This visual simplicity enhances the graphic strength of the image. Use of shapes and lines. One of the most striking features of this this photo is the bold use of shapes. The large semicircular hat, almost architectural in design, is the center element of the photograph. It creates a sharp geometric shape that contrasts with the soft curves of the face and the fluid lines of the clothing. The model's body, draped in monochrome, loose clothing, adds an element of softness, balancing the rigid lines of the hat. This creates a harmonious visual tension between rigidity and fluidity, contrast and lighting. The contrast between black and white is another strong point of this photo. The model, with very dark skin, is highlighted by the bright white background and light clothing. The hat, with its black top and white rim, also plays on this duality of contrast, enhancing the visual impact. The lighting is subtle and even, with no harsh shadows, maintaining consistency in the color and texture palette, minimalist elegance and abstraction. The absence of unnecessary detail and the palette reduce the essential black and white. Give this photo a timeless elegance. The model's face, partially hidden by the hat, adds an abstract dimension to the image. The model's identity is secondary, allowing focus on the form, texture, and harmony of the visual elements. This gives the photo a universal appeal, echoing contemporary art, emotional impact, and interpretation. This photo conveys a sense of calm, mystery, and sophistication. The lack of eye contact between the model and the viewer creates a certain emotional distance, reinforcing the idea of a conceptual and introspective piece. The model appeared to be a living sculpture, an embodied work of art. This photograph stands out for its simplicity, mastery of geometric shapes, and skillful use of contrast. It represents an artistic approach of fashion, with a focus of pure aesthetics and reducing elements to the essential. It's a captivating and timeless work that reflects on identity, art, and beauty. In the landscape category, this photo of Guilherme Frem captures a young man from behind, holding a soccer ball, standing on a sunlight beach framed by palm trees. The distant mountain and city skyline provide a stunning backdrop. Central subject. The young man is placed centrally, making him the focal point of the image. His stance, facing the horizon, invites the viewer to share his perspective, drawing attention to both the subject and the expansive landscape. Natural framing. The palm trees on either side act as a natural frame, guiding the viewer's gaze towards the boy and enhancing the sense of depth. This framing effect creates a window-like view, spotlighting the idyllic beach setting, perspective, and depth. The photo used depth effectively, with the distant mountains and city blurred slightly by mist, suggesting a vast and serene environment. This technique enhances the scale and beauty of the location. The image features warm, earthy palettes with sandy tones, the boy's sun skin, and the rich green of the palm tree. These warm hues are balanced by the cool blue of the ocean and sky, contributing to the relaxed, tropical feel of the scene. Contrast and saturation. The colors are subtly saturated, adding vibrancy while maintaining a natural look. The balance between warm sand tones and cool ocean hue provide visual harmony. Narrative and symbolism. The soccer ball suggests a theme of leisure, youth, and sport, evoking a laid-back, playful energy. It hints at the possibility of a game or a simple enjoyment of the moment, adding narrative depth to the image. Iconic background. The mountain in the background in Rio de Janeiro, famous Morro dos Irmãos, ground the photo in a specific cultural rich location. This connection to place adds a layer of focal identity, highlighting the beach's significance in the region. Contemplative posture. The boy stands, gazing towards the horizon, suggests introspection or anticipation. This creates a sense of intimacy, contrasting with the vastness of the natural world surrounding him. Emotional impact and interpretation. Serene atmosphere. The overall mood is calm and reflective, capturing a peaceful moment of solitude on a sunny beach. The scene evokes a sense of freedom, relaxation, and personal connection to nature. Aspiration and dreams. The young man gaze toward the horizon can be interpreted as symbolic of dreams, ambition, or a search for meaning. This transforms the image from a simple beach scene into a reflection on life's possibility. This photo excels in composition, using natural elements to frame subject while balancing light and color to evoke a serene and contemplative atmosphere. The thoughtful position of the young man, coupled with the iconic background and narrative potential, create an image that is both personal and universal, capturing the essence of beach life and the promise of what lies ahead. And now in the love category. The Kiss of Death by Bruna Casinotti. This photo presents a scene that is both striking and puzzling, capturing a couple kissing on the side of a building with dizzying view of the street below. One of the most remarkable aspects of this image is its highly unusual camera angle. The downward perspective makes it seem like the couple is suspending over the void, creating a stunning visual effect. The way the scene is photographed flips the special reference point, creating captivating illusion. This angle enhances the dramatic tension of the scene, giving the viewer a sense of adrenaline and vertigo, dynamism and movement. The image is full of energy due to the intensity of the couple's embrace and the contrast between their intimate moments and the world continuing below. The close framing on the couple with miniature world below reinforce the idea that their moment of love transcends everything happening around them. Colors and texture. The tones of the photo are earthy and urban, with closing in shades of brown, black, and deep red. These neutral tones blend well with the concrete and urban environment, reinforcing the idea of a modern romance in the city. The texture, like the rough surface of the building or the couple's clothes, leather, boots, jackets, add a tactile feel and enhance the realism of the scene. Emotional contrast. The scene juxtaposes two realities, the softness and passion of the kiss against the hard, unfeeling urban setting. The image conveys a sense of defiance in the face of apparent danger, symbolizing a love that ignores risk and convention. This tension between the intimates and the monuments makes the photograph powerful and emotionally charged. Narrative and symbolism. The couple hanging on the edge of the precipice could symbolize the idea of living dangerously or being willing to risk everything for love. The verticality of the scene and contrast between the vastness of the city and the intimacy of the moment reinforce the idea of a bold love, defying gravity and society's rules. In summary, this photograph excels in its ability to play with perception, creating a captivating visual effect while evoking deep emotion through the tension between love and danger. Please subscribe to the channel if you like the concept. And if you want your shot to be featured, send them to yourbestpicture@kevtex.com.